the honor.
Okay.
All right. So we have two things that we want to do today, inshallah, which is go over and practice the mudari, fi'l al-mudari, the present tense, and then do lesson 5, which is mainly past tense. Okay, but it's past tense with knowing, like, what is the object, what is the subject, and stuff like that. So we can do either or. Does anybody do you want to start with practicing present tense, or you want to do the lesson first? Who wants to do the lesson first? No? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's majority. You want to do the
Present tense.
present? Why'd you raise your hand?
I want to do both.
We are going to do both and stuff.
That's what I'm going to raise.
Okay, so it's split. So we'll start with we'll review, like we said, the present tense. Sorry. So if you have your the stuff that you wrote from yesterday, you should have that out, right? I'm not gonna write it again, because it takes a while. But let's go over the main concept. So if you have this verb sheet, you'll notice that all of the verbs in it are in the past tense, or they're translated in the past tense, right? So nasara, he helped, right? Kataba, he wrote. All of these are in the past tense, which is normal. So anytime you give a verb, or you're talking about a verb in Arabic, you always give the past tense. The past tense is also called the perfect tense. So the perfect is another name for past. What's a name for present? Another name for present tense in English.
No, I'm joking.
If it was perfect in the past,
Imperfect.
imperfect in the present. Okay. I'm just talking about English.
I think I'm not sure if you guys studied or not, but we studied past perfect. It's another form of.
Yeah, there's like past perfect. There's different stuff in English. But this is like the main distinction. Okay. These are the reason it's called perfect is because if an action is in the past, it's already done. It can't be changed, or it can't be modified anymore, right? Whereas if an action is going on, or it will go on, it's imperfect because it can be modified. It might not happen. It might, it might change.
What's future? Fake?
No, future is still imperfect because it still might not happen, right? But usually when you talk about a verb in Arabic, like let's say sajada, you'll give the verb in the past tense. So you'll say sajada is to prostrate, right, or to bow down on your face. But then, when you want to convert it now and you want to talk about sajada in the present tense, then you'll have to figure out, okay, what happens to the second root when it goes down into present tense, okay? Because we know that there's gonna be a sign of the mudari, which is a ya or a nun or alif or ta, right? And what is that gonna have? A fatha, dhamma, kasra, sukun.
Sukun. No, this one fatha.
Fatha. We'll have a fatha. And what's gonna be on the first
One
root?
is sukun.
Will be a sukun, okay? And then you have the second root, and then the third root will have
Dhamma.
dhamma. Okay. So you have these first the ya and the first root and the third root are all you know them. Okay, they're standard. But what changes is the second root. Okay, and the way that you figure this out, you can't figure it out from sajada. Someone has to tell you, or you have to look at it in a dictionary, that sajada, when it goes into the present tense, it gets a dhamma. Okay? And the way that they abbreviate this in dictionaries is they say the second root of sajada has a fatha, and then the second root in the past tense, the second root has a fatha, and in the present tense, the second root has a dhamma. So they'll abbreviate it AU. Okay, this is what it shows on the top of the column. If something is going from a fatha to a kasra, how will it be abbreviated? AI. right? So the kasra, the letter I is for the kasra. Just think E sound. It's a kasra. A for the fatha, U for the dhamma. Okay? So this is just a way of abbreviating to tell you what happens to a verb. Okay? So if I tell you that the verb, let's give an example. Hasiba is IA, right? Or sorry, not IA, II. Then what does that tell you for the past tense that the second root is? Has a
Kasra.
kasra. And then when I want to make it into a present tense, I'm going to do a fatha on the ya, and then ya. So the ha is going to get a sukun, the ba is going to get a
Dhamma.
dhamma, and the sin is going to get a
Kasra.
kasra. Yahsibu. He thinks, or he accounts, or he, he weighs or whatever. Okay. So for each of those columns, you'll see the different combinations. Okay. So the first combination is called bab nasara, where all of them they have a dhamma in the present, and a fatha in the present. Sorry, fatha in the past, and then dhamma in the present. Okay. And then the second one, it changes to a kasra. Third one, they both have fathas. Fourth one, they both have dhammas. And the fifth one, it starts with a kasra and it ends with a fatha.
Well, Hassan, what's those noon, tod, ba, kaf, sin, ha?
That's a good question. There's a nasara. I think they're just abbreviations. So the noon is for nasara, the da is for da, fa is for fatha. I don't know what it's for. Nada, fa.
It's just first letter of the
Yeah, this is
word.
the first letter of the example. And then you see how in the third the row they have the example nasara yansuru. So they tell you this is how you conjugate them in the present. Karuma yakrumu. Sami'a yasma'u. Right. So sami'a is opposite. You have a kasra in the past, sami'a, but when you get to present, you say yes.
No.
Ma'u. Yes, ma'u, he listens.
So, fatha.
The fatha. So it'll say IA. Alright, let's go to the first column and then we'll practice the saying for all 14 of them. Okay, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna have it immediately, but we're gonna keep repeating it and repeating it, inshallah, until it's just like the past. Actually, let's start with the past. Okay, so let's do kataba in the past tense. Okay, ready? Kataba.
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 Keep going.
Katabu.
Katabat.
Katabta.
Katabna. Katabta. Katabtuma. Katabtum. Katabti. Katabtuma. Katabtunna. Katabtu.
Katabna.
Okay, that's past tense. So you should already have that sort of ingrained. And what's going to be he writes for present?
Yaktaba.
Yaktubu.
Yaktubu, right? So the ta instead of kataba having a fatha, it's going to get now a dhamma. So I want to say yaktubu.
Yaktubu.
Okay, what's for huma?
Yaktubani.
Yaktubani. Yaktubani. So all you take is yaktubu, but you add an alif nun. Okay, everyone say it. Yaktubu.
Yaktubu.
Yaktubani.
Yaktubani.
What's hum?
Yaktubu.
Yaktubuna. Yaktubuna. Okay. And when you get to hiya, what do you have?
Yaktabu.
Taktubu.
Taktabu.
Taktubu. Hiya is taktubu.
Taktabu.
Okay. What's huma?
Taktubani.
Taktubani. Okay. And then when you get to hunna,
Yaktubana.
yaktubna. Yaktubna. So for hunna, you switch to the ya. Yaktubna. Okay. Let's do the first 6 again. Yaktubu.
Yaktubu.
Yaktubani.
Yaktubani.
Yaktubuna.
Yaktubuna.
Hiya taktubu.
Yaktubu.
Taktubani.
Taktubani.
Hunna yaktubna.
Yaktubna.
Okay, what's anta?
Taktubu.
Taktubu. taktubani.
Taktubani.
What's antum?
Taktubana.
Taktubuna. Anti.
Taktubina.
Taktubina. And then antuma.
Taktubani.
Taktubani. And then antunna.
Taktubuna.
Taktubna. Antunna taktubna. Ana
Aktaban.
aktubu. And nahnu.
Naktubu.
Naktubu.
Okay, so they're a little bit tricky to get in the beginning, but what's the simpler form is the 5 in your pocket, right? So what's the 5 in your pocket for yaktubu, brother Afnan?
Yaktubu, taktubu, taktubu, aktubu, naktubu.
Aktubu, yeah. So it's huwa, hiya, anta, ana, and nahnu. So those are the 5 common and easy ones to say. Yaktubu, taktubu, taktubu, aktubu, naktubu. Okay, so we'll practice both of those. All right, let's do another one, and then I'll give, and then I'll pick on people, inshallah. Let's do dakhala. Dakhala is what? He entered. Okay, let's do past tense first. Ready? Go.
Dakhala. Dakhalu. Dakhalat. Dakhalat.
Dakhalna. Dakhalta. Dakhaltuma. Dakhaltum. Dakhalti. Dakhaltuma. Dakhaltunna. Dakhaltu. Dakhalna. Okay. What's the present tense?
Yadkhulu.
Yadkhulu. Okay, let's do 5 in your pocket. Ready? Yadkhulu.
Yadkhulu.
Tadkhulu.
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 Adkhulu.
Adkhulu.
Nadkhulu.
Nadkhulu.
Okay, so those are he, she, you, male, I, and we. Okay. All right, let's do all of them. Yadkhulu.
Yadkhulu.
Yadkhulani.
Yadkhulani.
Yadkhuluna.
Yadkhuluna.
What's here?
Tadkhulu.
Tadkhulu. Tadkhulani.
Tadkhulani.
Hunna.
Yadkhulna.
Hunna yadkhulna.
Na.
Anta.
Tadkhulu.
Tadkhulu. Tadkhulani.
Tadkhulani.
Tadkhuluna. Anti.
Tadkhuluna.
Tadkhulina. Tadkhulina. Okay, antuma tadkhulani. Antunna tadkhulna. Ana adkhulu. Nahnu.
Nadkhulu.
Okay, so we enter. What's she enters?
Tadkhulu.
Tadkhulu. Okay. You enter a male.
Tadkhulu.
Tadkhulu, the same exact thing. Okay, brother Anwar, do you want to do one? Yes, you do. How about kharaja? 5 in your pocket.
Kharajatu.
So 5 in your pocket for present tense.
Yakhraju.
Yakhruju.
Yakhruju.
Okay. What's here?
Tadkhulu.
Takhruju.
Takhruju.
Okay.
Anta.
Anta.
Tadkhulu.
Takhruju.
Takhrujuna.
Just takhruju.
Takhruju.
Okay. Ana.
Ana adkhulu. Akhruju.
Just look at the verb. Okay.
Yeah.
Akhruju.
Akhruju and nakhruju.
Okay. Brother Najmul, how about razaqa? All 14 in the present.
Razaka. Yarzuku.
Yarzuku.
Yarzukani.
Yarzuqani.
Yarzukuna.
Hiya.
Tarzuku.
Tarzuku. Good.
Tarzukani.
Tarzuqani.
Yarzukna.
Yarzuqna. Hunna yarzuqna. Good. Anta.
Tarzuku.
Tarzuku.
Tarzukani.
Tarzuqani. Antum.
Tarzukuna.
Tarzuquna. Anti.
Tarzukina.
Tarzuqina.
Tarzukani.
Yep. Antunna.
Tarzukna.
Tarzuqna. Ana.
Arzukna. Arzuku.
Arzuqu. And nahnu.
Narzuku.
Excellent. MashaAllah. Sir Shireen. Nazara. He looked. Go in the 5 in your pocket. It's in the first column. So how do you say he looks?
Yanzuru,
Yanzuru. She looks.
she looks. That's the yan. Tanzuru.
Tanzuru. You look, male.
Tua, right? Like you.
Anta.
Anta. Tanzuru.
Tanzuru. Ana.
Anzuru.
And nahnu.
Nanzuru.
Nanzuru. Just remember, the 5 in your pocket is ya, ta, ta, alif, nun. Okay, so it's yanzuru, tanzuru, tanzuru, anzuru, nanzuru. Okay? Do it with another one. Khalaqa. So 5 in your pocket. He
Okay.
created.
Yakhluqu.
Yep.
Then takhluqu.
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 Akhluqu.
Akhluqu.
Nakhluqu.
Nakhluqu. Okay, Takhluqu. Sister Tahira. How about Zakara? He remembered for all 14.
Okay. Yazkuru,
Mhm.
yazkurani,
Yazkurani.
yazkuruna,
Yazkuruna. Hiya.
hiya tazkuru,
Tazkuru.
huma tazkurani,
Yep. Hunna.
yazkurna,
Yadhkurna. Excellent. You switch to the ya. And then anta.
anta tazkuru,
Tazkuru.
antuma tazkurani,
Mhm.
antum tazkuruna,
Yep. Anti.
anti tazkurina,
Tazkurina.
antuma tazkurani,
Tazkurani.
antunna tazkurna,
Tazkurna. Ana.
ana azkurna,
Az.
azkuru,
Azkuru. Nahnu.
and nahnu nazkuru.
MashaAllah. Excellent. Brother Afnan.
Yes.
How about Darasa? He studied. All 14 for the present.
Yadrusu,
Yadrusu.
yadrusani,
Yadrusani.
yadrusuna,
Yep. And hiya.
tadrusu,
Tadrusu.
tadrusani,
Mhm.
yadrusna,
Yadrusna. Anta. Tadrusu.
tadrusani, tadrusuna, tadrusina, tadrusani,
Antunna.
tadrusna,
Tadrusna.
adrusuna,
Adrusu. Adrusu. MashaAllah. Brother Ala. How about Sakana? He lived. For the present tense.
Okay, sakana, yaskunu,
Mhm.
yaskunani,
Yaskunani.
yaskununa,
Yaskununa. Hiya.
taskununa,
Taskunu.
taskunu, taskunani,
Mhm.
yaskunna,
Yaskunna. Anta.
taskunu,
Mhm.
then taskunani,
Taskunani.
taskunna,
Antum is
taskununa,
taskununa. Anti.
tansukini, tansukina,
Taskunina.
tansukina.
It's difficult.
Did I say tansu?
Taskunina.
Tanskunina.
It'll bring out the dyslexia in you. I mean, everyone.
Well, I took like
Right,
really sloppy notes last time.
Taskunina. Okay, antuma.
Taskunani,
Taskunani. Antunna.
taskunna,
Taskunna. Ana.
askunu,
Askunu. Nahnu.
nuskun.
Naskun. So we live, or we are living. So sakana is very common, just in the Arabic language. Okay. So this was all the first column, but you can now take any verb from any column and conjugate it, right? So if I said sami'a, he heard, and I want to say he hears, what do I do?
Yes.
Yasma'u. Okay, and I want to say we hear.
Nasma.
Nasma'u. Okay. And they hear, a group of men.
Right?
Yaskunani.
Yaskunna.
Yaskun.
We're talking about sami'a, we're talking
Yaskununa.
about hear, not live.
Yasma'una.
Yasma'una. So they all hear, yasma'una. Okay. You hear one man.
Asma.
Tas.
Yes.
Tasma'u.
Tasma'u.
Tasma'u. And I here,
Asma.
asma'u.
Asma'u.
The sentence matters, right? So if I said Zaid eats the food, okay? So who is the subject? Zaid is the subject, okay? And what is the thing that's being eaten?
Food.
The food. So it's the object, okay? And this is my verb. If I switch it around to say the food
Was eaten.
eats Zaid, what have I done? I've made the Zaid being the eaten object. Okay? So this completely switches. The order is what matters in English. In Arabic, the order does not matter. Okay? For the subject and the object and the verb, the order does not matter. I can take a ta'am, I can move it here. I can take it ta'am and move it here. And it will not change the meaning of the sentence. Why? Because the ending is what determines the status or what the sentence is trying to accomplish. So if I have the object is mansoob, like ta'ama, I can tell you that this is going to be the object. It doesn't matter where I put it. I can say at-ta'ama zaydun ya'kulu, or zaydun at-ta'ama ya'kulu, or
But what about whenever you're when you're speaking Arabic and you don't say the last?
yeah, if you don't say it the last, then yeah, it's a
That's
little bit
confusing.
hard. But in writing it, you would have to.
But I think when the spoken, even if you don't say, like of course, food cannot eat zayd.
Right. So you can say at-ta'ama zaydun ya'kulu and it would still make sense. Whereas in English you would say the food eats zayd, it doesn't make sense. Okay. Also, what's another way that you could say that? So here, the other thing I was trying to point out, I'm gonna say, was that okay? Where's my subject?
Zayd.
Zayd.
Zayd, yes, okay. But Zayd, actually, hold on. Before I get to that, we said there's two types of sentences, right? There's nominal sentence, and there's verbal sentence. Okay. What is the nominal sentence always start with?
Subject.
Subject.
Starts with a noun.
Noun.
Noun, right? And it's made up of two parts. It's made up of a mubtada, which means what?
Khabar. The mubtada is the subject.
Subject,
Khabar is the news.
and the khabar is the subject or predicate. Khabar.
No, not subject.
Object.
It's a predicate for news.
Yeah, there's no object. There's no verb. There's no object in a nominal sentence. Okay. Whereas in a verbal sentence, it starts with a verb. Okay. So if I say the sentence Zaydun yakulu at-ta'ama, what type of sentence is it? Is it nominal or verbal?
Nominal.
It's a nominal sentence, right? So a nominal sentence, it starts with a noun, so I have Zayd, it's a noun. Okay. If I wanted to change it to a verbal sentence, how would I do that?
Ya'kulu Zayd.
I would change it, right? I would say yakulu Zaydun at-ta'ama. Okay. So if I switch it now and I say yakulu Zaydun ta'ama, I'm making it into a verbal sentence because it starts with a verb. Okay. Now I can assign it a subject, a verb, and an object. So here's my verb, yakulu, and then here's my subject, Zayd, and here's my object. Okay. I'm going to mention this, but you don't have to, if you don't understand it, it's okay. When we're talking about this sentence versus this sentence, so we already said this is a nominal sentence, right? So that means that I have to have a mubtada and a khabar. I have to have a subject and a predicate. Okay. By the way, we said this subject doesn't mean the same as this subject, right? They both have the word subject, but they're different. This subject is called mubtada in Arabic, and this subject is called what?
Maf'ul bih.
No. Something else. It begins with a fa.
Fa'il.
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 It's called a fa'il.
Well, what's the verb then?
The verb is called fi'il, and
Fa'il.
the object is called
Maf'ul bih.
maf'ulun bihi. So these are the Arabic terms for subject, verb, and object. But when we say subject in terms of a nominal sentence, we're talking about the mubtada. Mubtada means something that begins something. Okay. Do we have the verb bada'a here?
Yeah, I think so.
Bada'a is in the third column. Okay. Bada'a. It means to begin. Okay. Mubtada. Mubtada has the same roots. Bada'a. Okay. So mubtada means something that begins it. It starts the sentence. Okay. So going back to this. Zayd yakul al-ta'am. Where is my mubtada?
Zayd.
Zayd. Okay. So Zayd, I can put a line here and say this is my mubtada. Okay. Now I need a khabar. So where is the khabar? Yakul al-ta'am. Okay. Yakul al-ta'am is the khabar to Zayd. Okay. And actually the khabar is a jumla fi'liya. Jumla fi'liya. Okay. So what that means is that the verbal sentence is coming as a khabar to this nominal sentence. And you can do that in Arabic. In Arabic, you can have a sentence that's a nominal sentence, but the khabar in it will be a jumla fi'liya.
So, just a question so if a nominal sentence always begins with a mubtada,
Yes.
and the verbal sentence has to have the mubtada.
No,
Is
the
that-
verbal sentence does not have to
I mean, it has a subject,
has a subject.
but does that mean that if you have a verbal sentence and you switch it and let the subject come first, it means it
It
will
changes
always
into
be,
it changes to a nominal sentence.
it changes nominal, but does that mean that the subject of the mubtada will always be the very first thing in that case?
Yeah, if it begins with a subject, then it's the mubtada. I mean, whatever.
So
it
it's
starts-
always first then?
Yeah, it's the mubtada is gonna be.
So it's not like
if it's a noun, then you're gonna have a mubtada khabar relationship. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that the verbal sentence can be a khabar to a nominal sentence. Okay.
Okay.
I think what brother is trying
So
to say.
subject is never different, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Basically, anytime you come across a sentence in the Quran, in reading, in whatever, you look at the first word. If it's a verb, then you have a verbal sentence. If it's a noun, you have a nominal sentence. And then within a nominal sentence, though, is what we're seeing here. This whole thing is a nominal sentence. Okay? This whole thing is a nominal sentence. Within this nominal sentence, now you have a
Jumla.
verbal sentence.
So then, is there, so then they're always the same then, the mubtada and the,
But the verbal sentence is performing a function. It's performing as a khabar to the mubtada of this whole nominal sentence. Okay, let me step back. We'll go back to the first lesson in book 1. If I said Zaydun faqirun, okay, what does that mean?
Zayd is poor.
Zayd is poor, okay? Is this a nominal sentence or a verbal sentence?
Nominal.
Nominal sentence. Okay, so where's my mubtada?
Zayd.
Yeah.
Zayd, and where's my khabar? Faqirun, right? It's a two-word sentence. Zayd is poor. Mubtada khabar. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is the khabar. Let's make a list here. The khabar can be one word, like faqirun. Okay. It can be a verbal sentence. Okay, and then we're gonna list all the other things that a khabar can be. You also, what if I said Zaydun min al-Hind? Min al-Hindi. Okay, so is this a nominal sentence or a verbal sentence? Nominal sentence. Where's my mubtada?
Zayd.
Zayd. Okay, where's my khabar?
Minal.
Min al-Hindi. Okay. Min al-Hindi is what?
From
And you remember
India.
from book 1? Jar majroor, shibul jumla. Okay? So it's a jar majroor and it's khabar. Okay? So the khabar can be, right, for now, know that the khabar can be one of three things. It can be one word, it can be a verbal sentence, or it can be jar majroor. Okay? So the khabar can be, for now, it can be more things, but for the three things that we know for now is that it can be a word, it can be a verbal sentence, or it can be jar majroor, or it can be a shibul. Shibul jumla means phrase. Okay.
Now, what if we add inna in front of Zayd?
Oh, that's a good question. What if you add inna in front of Zayd?
Inna Zaydan.
Yeah, what if you say inna Zaydan faqirun?
How about the
Okay, so you can only have two types of sentences, right? You can have a verbal sentence and you can have a nominal sentence. It's not a verbal sentence because it doesn't begin with a verb. It's not, technically you can't say it begins with a noun because inna is what?
particle?
It's a harf, right? It's a harf, so it's a particle. What inna does though is that it changes to the mubtada into ism inna. So now mubtada will change into ism inna. Ism inna, and then khabar will change to khabar inna.
It's just name, changing the name.
You're just changing the name, exactly.
Yeah, technically it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, all you're doing is just changing the term. So you say inna is the harf of tawqid, harf of like emphasis.
Will be inna Zaydan yakulu ta'am.
Yeah, you can put inna here too. Inna zaydan yakulu ta'am. Okay. But it wouldn't make sense to put inna here. You can't say inna yakulu zaydan ta'am. Okay.
I can.
You can't. Verbs, when you want to emphasize them, you use qad or laqad. So you can say qad yakulu zayd or laqad yakulu zayd. Okay. So when you want to emphasize nouns, you use inna. When you want to emphasize verbs, we're going to learn this in book 3. You use qad or laqad. Okay. These are also particles and they emphasize verbs. Alright, so that was a long detour. Let's go to lesson 5. So basically now I'm going to be asking you whenever we read a phrase or a sentence, is this a jumla ismiya, nominal, or jumla fi'liya, verbal? And then you have to tell me which of these categories, where's the subject, fa'il, fi'l, maf'ul bihi, where's all these things, okay? Let's just recap. But we won't analyze questions, okay? So the first dialogue is this question. Man fataha bab al-fasli, what does that mean? Who opened
Who
the
opened the door
of the classroom door, okay? Hamid says, Ana fatahtuhu. Ana fatahtuhu means
I opened it.
I opened it. So is Ana fatahtuhu a verbal sentence or a nominal sentence?
Nominal.
It's a nominal sentence. Why?
Ana.
It begins with ana. Ana is a pronoun. It's a noun. It's a type of noun. So it's a nominal sentence. So now I have to have a mubtada and a khabar. Where's my mubtada?
Ana.
Ana, I. Okay. Where's my khabar?
Fatahtuha.
Fatahtuhu.
Tuhu.
Okay. And what type of khabar is it? Is it a word? Is it a verbal
Verbal
sentence? Or is
sentence.
it
Jumla ismi, jumla
fi'liya. Okay. You might be tempted to say it's one word because it's comprised of one word. Fatahtuhu. It looks like one word, right? But really, it's a verbal sentence because it has a subject, a verb, and a maf'ulun bihi. It has a fi'l, fa'il, maf'ulun bihi. Okay? So where is the subject? The verb is fi'l, fatah. The fa'il is tu, and the maf'ulun bihi is hu. I opened it. So that one word, it comprises the whole jumla fi'liya. Okay? Al-Mudarris, go ahead, read the left now, the third line.
ومن فتح
وَمَنْ فَتَحَ
ومن فتح نافذة
نوافذ.
نوافذ.
Okay, what does that mean? وَمَنْ فَتَحَ النَّوَافِذَ?
And who opened the windows?
And who opened the windows? Nawafidha is windows. What's the singular for nawafidha?
Nafida.
Nafidhatun, and the plural is nawafidhu. Nawafidhu. Okay? Why is nawafidha have a fatha?
Because
It's-
the verb.
It's the
It's
object.
an object of fataha, right? So it's maf'ulun bihi. Maf'ulun bihi is mansoob. Okay? What does Ali say, Brother Ala?
Same sense yesterday. أنا فتحتها.
It's not the same sentence.
Well,
Why
it's
is it
ha,
not
I
the
mean,
same
it's, but
sentence?
I'm saying, I'm getting the same small sentence. It's ha because it's feminine. Window is feminine.
Is window feminine?
No, it's not.
Nafidatun, yes, windows.
Well,
Wait,
nafidhatun, a window
Yes.
is feminine, but what's an-nawafidha?
It's ha because it's feminine because it's plural غير
Right.
عاقل.
غير aql, that's what I wanted to hear. All non-غير aql nouns are, in plural, are treated as singular feminine. Okay?
Brother Allah gets small sentences but very powerful.
Yeah, they're deep. Okay.
Okay. Ana fatahtuha, again, is it a verbal or nominal?
Verb.
Nominal.
Nominal. It begins with a noun. Ana is mubtada and fatahtuha is khabar. Okay? Brother Anwar, read the next line.
من كسر هذا المكتب.
Okay, what's kasara?
كسر broke.
Who broke what?
Who broke the table?
What's hadha al-maktab? This
This
desk.
table. This
This
desk.
table, this desk, okay?
Yeah.
Who broke this desk? The
But
next
wait a
one.
minute. Sorry. Why do we know it's kasara? Because a girl could have broken it.
Man is for, but when you say man, the default is male singular.
Okay.
أنت كسرت.
Or it's a classroom of all boys, maybe.
Only boys can do
No,
that.
no, why kasara is?
He's saying why is kasara for male? Kasara is he broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know, it could be a she, it could be them, right? But what I'm saying is that when you use man, it goes default to male
Male.
singular.
Yeah.
So you can't say man kasaru, right? You could technically say it, but
Kasaru you can say because it's
You could
a
say
group
it,
of
yeah.
men, yeah. But maybe kasarat you cannot say
Yeah.
kasarat.
but with man, if it's just man, then you say singular male.
female.
Okay, anta, keep going. Anta
أنت كسرته يا هاشم.
anta kasartahu ya Hashim. What does that mean?
Kasarta.
Did you broke Hashim?
Okay, let's look at kasartahu. Kasartahu. Okay. Alright, there are 3 words in here. What's kasar?
It's the verb.
It's the verb, right? Kasar is my verb. What's the
It's the you. Bring
subject?
Subject.
Okay, and it goes to anta, right? Kasarta. If I say you break kasarta, what's you break female?
Ti.
Kasarti. If he was talking to a female, right? What if he was talking to a group of men?
Kasartu.
Kasartum, and a group of females?
Kasartunna.
Kasartunna, right?
Akasar.
And then who? What is who?
It's as in the desk.
The object, the maf'ulun bihi. Okay. So did you break it? Is what he is asking. Oh Hashim. Okay. Brother Nazmul, read the next one.
لا إني ما كسرته.
La inni ma kasartuhu means
No, surely I didn't break it.
surely or indeed. Inni is inna plus ya mutakallim for me. Indeed I ma kasartuhu. What's ma kasartuhu?
I
Didn't
not
break it, right? So this is the ma
Negation.
nafi. Harfun nafi means it's a particle of denial. I did not break it. Ma kasartuhu. Okay. How would you say I didn't open it?
ما فتحته.
Ma fatahtuhu. Okay. Or I didn't read it.
ما قرأته.
Qara'tuhu. Ma qara'tuhu. Okay. So ma you can use for any verb in the past tense to deny that it happened. Sister Shireen, I read the next one.
Raja'a Zakaria
Mhm.
Zakaria wa Hamzatu
Hamzatu
wa